This is not a button, this is just an image with a hyperlink on top of it. But this one is a proper button with a much wider clickable area. However, if you ever using WordPress, you will realize that when you click on the button and then go to on the editing area, you will see that you can only change the color of the button, nothing more. But luckily, I found a clever way to insert a photo into a button in WordPress without needing any plugin and without using any code. So let me show you how. Okay, now I'm in the WordPress Gutenberg editor. The first thing we need to do is to add a block called cover. Let's place the cursor here, type /cover, and I'm going to select a picture for this button. And after that, I'm going to type /buttons. We're going to insert these button blocks into the editor. Let's type. Okay, and I'm going to put it into the center. And since this is a button, well, it's only ideal to insert some link into it. I'm going to type something here. Okay, now click on the button again, go to settings and make sure the width should be 100%. After that, click styles and change the color. In this example, I'm going to make sure that the color of the text on the button is white. And then you can scroll down a bit and you can adjust the padding if you want to. I'm going to adjust the top and bottom padding to be this wide, so the button looks a lot bigger, and I think it's only appropriate if the text is also large. So let's change the text to be this size, or maybe that's a bit too big, so I'm going to use this setting. Let's say 1.2. Okay, that looks a lot better. The next thing I'm going to do is to adjust the border radius of this button. I'm going to enter the value of 100 pixel. Now the button is almost ready, but let's go into the cover first. Click on the cover and then go to styles. You can adjust the overlay opacity of this cover. So I'm going to change the value to, let's say, 10%. And then it is important to remove the padding of this cover. So by default, there is a little bit of padding on every cover you created in the Gutenberg editor. So we want to make sure that this value to be 0. To do that, just click on the slider and then move to the right and then go back to the very left. Do the same for the left and right padding as well. Now what I'm going to do is to adjust the size of this cover to be exactly the same as the button. To do that, just set the minimum height of cover to be whatever the minimum is allowed. So if you click on the parameter and then you change it to percentage, it actually will adjust to the content automatically. If you make the button larger, the cover will follow accordingly. So that's a nice thing to have. Anyway, let's continue with adding some value to the border radius. I'm going to enter the value to be 100, which is the same as the button. So as you can see here, the cover is now overlapped by the button. And it is time to make sure that the button is fully transparent. But then how do you actually click the cover if it is being blocked by the button? Well, thankfully, we can use a feature called Document Overview, which will show the structure of your content. So there are covers, buttons, and there's also these settings. I'm going to click on the button block, and then I'm going to go to Styles, and click on background. Click this and make sure to select the transparency level to be 0. Move this ladder to the very left. And there you go. Now the button is transparent, so the image behind it is fully visible. But personally, I don't want to show this part of the image. So what I'm going to do is go to cover again, and then you can adjust the position of what area that can be seen by the visitor. So just move this control point, and maybe I'm going to put it here. Okay, I think this looks a lot better. In case you don't want this button to be this wide, then we can use a block called column to basically contain the entire cover and the button to be a lot smaller. Let me give you an example. So I'm going to copy this entire content, which includes the cover and also the button. And I'm going to add a new block called column. I'm going to select 25, 50, and then 25. Okay, now there are 3 rows of this column. I'm going to click the middle row, which is the biggest one, and I'm going to press the Ctrl+V button on the keyboard. And there you go. That's how you can insert a picture to a button in WordPress without needing any plugin. The basic principle that I have explained in this video can actually be used on something more. For example, you can create this good-looking Bento grid in your WordPress site without any plugin. If you want to learn more about that, check out this video and I'll see you there.